Hello, my name is Ruth Carr and I'm the Executive Director of Australian Science Innovations, and together with Nathan Ford, the CEO of the Australian Maths Trust, welcome to the 2020 Virtual Australian Olympiad Team Announcement. It's been a challenging year for everyone, but it's still really important that we celebrate the successes of our Olympians, and that's what we're going to do today.
We'd like to extend our thanks to our speakers today, ASI Chair Ben Kramer, AMTT Limited Chair Dennis Trewin AO, ANU Vice Chancellor Ryan Schmidt AC, Optiver Representative Suganya Suresh, and our guest speaker, Professor Deborah Williamson, Deputy Director of the Microbiological Diagnostic Unit Public Health Laboratory and Director of Clinical Microbiology at the Doherty Institute. And of course, we'd like to thank all our 2020 Maths, Informatics and Science Olympians and their team leaders for their efforts in helping put this together. Thank you for watching. Now let's kick things off.
2020 has been a tough year. Bushfires and COVID-19 have caused major disruptions and cancellations to the Australian Science Olympiad program. But 2020 has also shown us how resilient and hard-working our students and staff are. They banded together to make the most of the situation to develop their STEM knowledge and skills. Our Science Olympiad staff swiftly relocated and modified their programs so that the Science Olympiads could continue. Without them, we couldn't have reached this point of announcing the students who've made the Australian Science Olympiad teams. This year has proved that in times of crisis, science can unlock answers and underpin sound policy. It has also clearly demonstrated that a society guided by sound science will be safer and have a more prosperous future. We know many of our Olympians will contribute solutions to the significant issues facing our society, and we thank our sponsors for their foresight in investing in the problem solvers of the future. In particular, I'd like to thank the Australian Government through the Department of Industry, Science, Energy and Resources, the Australian National University, the Australian Geoscience Council, ICSIM, the Garvan Institute of Medical Research, and the Walter and Eliza Hall Research Institute. Finally, I'd like to say well done to all of the students that have made the teams. You've had a tough year, but you've done very, very well.
Congratulations. It is an incredible achievement to represent your country. Not many of us have that opportunity. The COVID-19 pandemic has really shown the importance of science, especially the work of mathematics. For example, biomathematicians have been at the forefront of predicting the path of the virus and understanding the impact of restrictions or lack of restrictions. They have helped to save many, many lives. This is just one important application. There are so many opportunities in science. We hope you use the wonderful experience of being part of an Olympiad team as a very important stepping stone to a wonderful career in science. We need you.
Thank you very much for having me today, and the honour of being able to address a group of such remarkable students, as well as the professors, teachers, parents and friends who have supported their journey to get here. What a massive achievement. Congratulations. I'm Suganya, a software developer, team leader, and maths graduate. As a former maths student, I well remember that feeling of satisfaction when you finally work out how to solve a hard problem with a group of your friends. I've been lucky enough to be able to do that every day at Optiver, combining both my passion for maths as well as software development to help solve complex trading problems. Optiver is what is called a market maker, which means we use technology to make financial markets more efficient. Optiver is proud to be the national sponsor of the Australian Informatics and Mathematical Olympiads, a role we have played since 2016. We're very excited about this announcement and to see what our Olympiad team can do. I feel so much pride and excitement when I see young, ambitious students succeeding in this field so early on in their lives. Trust me when I say that your studies in maths will open up a huge range of opportunities for you in your future career. The students in my cohort took their careers in very different directions. There are some working as software developers like myself, others in research, in finance, in teaching, as data analysts. The list goes on. Math alumni are definitely in high demand, not just for their technical knowledge, but for the other skills you are developing in problem solving and analytical thinking. These skills will open up a diverse range of opportunities for you that you probably can't even imagine right now. My own journey probably began a lot like yours will, or have, unsure as to exactly what I wanted to do after high school. I ended up choosing maths because I enjoyed it, and looking back, I think that's one of the best decisions I've ever made. I've enjoyed the things I've learnt, the camaraderie of sitting with a group of friends and trying to solve a tough problem, and the joy of that eureka moment. Having a maths background has also made it easier for me to talk to the traders and researchers at Optiva. That's made coding much simpler, and there's great value in having that problem-solving mindset. It doesn't come easily to everyone, so don't underestimate its value in industry. I'm excited to see how each of your own journeys unfold. I encourage you all to continue choosing the paths that excite and interest you, and that you keep learning and growing. I wish you all the best, not just for the competition, but for the bright careers you all have in front of you. Congratulations again, and best of luck.
Hello, I'm Brian Schmidt, Vice Chancellor of the Australian National University in Canberra. In what's been a crazy year, I want to congratulate everyone who has been named on this year's Science, Math, and Informatics Olympic team. ANU supports the Academic Olympics because we want students like you to get a chance to really shine, but also to push yourselves and get the opportunity to interact with students across Australia who have similar abilities and interests like you have. Now, I know it's been a hard year, and the program has been and will continue to be disrupted. Your persistence and resilience to make the team this year will serve you in good stead. So no matter how tough things get now, they will get better in the future, and you will be ready. So I congratulate you all once again and hope to see you at Australia's National University in the not too distant future. Good luck.
Hi there, my name is Deborah Williamson. I'm a microbiologist at the Doherty Institute and at the Royal Melbourne Hospital, and I'm really delighted to be able to talk to you today. This is such a proud moment for all of you and your families, and fantastic recognition of all of the hard work that you've done to get here. You should all feel so very, very proud of yourselves. I think it's important to note that this year has been particularly challenging for you and for all of us. The challenges and the uncertainty that we've faced as a society in dealing with this new virus, the coronavirus, has been really unprecedented. And I really hope that it's something that none of us ever see in our lifetime again. The challenges that you've all faced personally, working from home and navigating a whole new society, have been remarkable. And all of you, I'm sure, have shown considerable resilience over the past few months. One thing, however, is crystal clear as this pandemic emerges, and that's the importance of science. High quality, evidence-based science is really what is helping us to combat this pandemic and to prevent future pandemics. And that's not just the area of science that I'm involved in, which is infectious diseases and microbiology. That is all elements of science, from mathematical modelling to coding and bioinformatics to artificial intelligence to engineering. All of these things are critically important in combating this pandemic, and really emphasises the need for science as a whole to come together, and it emphasises the importance of science to society and to humanity more broadly. Each of you have shown through your efforts and your hard work so far that you really have what it takes to become the next generation of science leaders in Australia and across the world. And I really look forward to seeing what the next few years has in store for you. And I wish you the very best of luck at this Olympiad. Thanks.
Hello there, I'm Kevin Tran, Director of Training for the Informatics program. I've been the Director of Training for 6 months now. To make the team, the students go through a multi-stage process involving over 20 hours of exams and 2 intense multi-day training camps representing hundreds of hours of practice. The students who made the team are Junhua Chen, Isaiah Elif, Kwang Ong, and Tunan Shi. The best advice I could give to someone who wants to become a great informatician is never to give up when trying to solve a problem. I've known many great informaticians over the years, and the one thing that they all have in common is that they loathe having the solution to a problem spoiled to them. They'd rather leave that problem sitting on the back burner for a few weeks, a few months, maybe even a few years. That kind of perseverance is, I think, key to making a really strong problem solver.
What got me into informatics was me in year 8. I was lazy, so I wrote a Python program to do my math homework for me, and it was really fast. And I realized programming was very useful, and that's how I got into informatics.
When I think of the challenges I'd like to solve in my lifetime, I think of the big theoretical computer science problems that remain unsolved, and these are extremely interesting. However, slightly more accessible and realistic would be to help the world in some more practical way. For example, working on global inequality, climate change, or health, so other future informatics students don't have to do virtual IOIs.
There's basically an entire culture surrounding informatics. We have like a very obscure sense of humor. I will try my best to explain one of them. So essentially, quite often we get a bug in which values that we're computing become too big for 32-bit integers to store. And a hacky and unsustainable fix would be to replace all instances of int with long, essentially forcing the program to use exclusively 64-bit integers. This has some intended side effects of replacing words that just contain int as a substring, which I think is very interesting.
The most challenging part of the informatics selection process for me is probably the final selection exam, because you're already up against the top in the country and you want to come out on the top 4. The exam is quite hard as well, because on 2 independent days you're given 5 hours roughly to solve 3 problems. Here's my favorite joke related to informatics. Why are recursive functions so narcissistic? Because they keep calling themselves over and over again.
My name is Angelo Di Pasquale, and I'm the Program Director for Mathematics at the Australian Mathematics Trust. I'm very happy to announce the 6-member team that will participate in the 2020 International Mathematical Olympiad hosted by Russia. They are Andreas Baritica, Yasiru Jayasooriya, Zian Shang, William Steinberg, Hadyn Tang, and Feng Shuo Yi. Now, you might be a young budding mathematician yourself that's interested and curious and thinking, I wonder if I could make an IMO team one day. Such is the depth of the Olympiad nowadays that sheer raw talent alone is not enough. You also need to be willing to experiment and be willing to fail. Do the programs, do the contests. One day, you might be heading off to an international Olympiad yourself.
No matter which part of the selection process you're in, there are probably a lot of people you're competing against that you think are at least as good as you. At least for me, I found it more helpful to, instead of thinking about the people I'm competing against, to focus on the problems and the level of problems that I need to solve.
In addition to mathematics, I'm also interested in physics and computer science. Of course, I appreciate delicious food
and music.
Some of my ambitions include being able to use my knowledge in maths and computer science to tackle the many environmental challenges the world currently faces. I intend to study in an Australian university, though if I get the opportunity, I may go overseas for future studies.
If I had to give advice to other aspiring Olympiad students, I'd probably say, try a variety of different problems with varying difficulty and don't succumb to the temptation to give up.
My advice would be to persevere through the good and the bad times, because one day when you succeed, you will look back and think, well, this was all worth it.
Why can't you grow corn on Z6? Because it's not a field.
Hi, my name's Dr. Julie Cooke. I'm the Program Director for the Australian Biology Olympiad program. It is with my great pleasure to introduce the 2020 Biology Olympiad team. Priya Bara, Nicholas Bao, Hamish Walker and Angie Zhao. Priya, Nicholas, Hamish and Angie were 4 of 1,800 students that sat the biology qualifying exam in August of 2019. In January 2020, we attempted to hold a summer training program for a cohort of 24 students. But with the impact of the bushfires, we had to abandon that plan and continue our program in an online format. The biology teaching team are an amazing group of individuals, and they put together hours of content involving webinars, online lectures, and workshops that even involved practicing past papers. At the end of this training program, students sat a final selection exam, and based on their merits, Priya, Nicholas, Hamish, and Angie was selected as the 2020 Australian Biology Olympiad team.
What sparked my interest in biology was my fascination for science at a young age. To me, biology helps me to better understand and appreciate myself and other life.
My interest for biology was first sparked when we learnt about sound at school in Year 2. I was fascinated by the functioning of the ear, transforming the sound waves it detected into electrical impulses that could then be detected by the brain as sound. In the future, I hope to study medicine at university. My ambitions are to work in the medical field in a position that combines treatment and medical research.
My interest in biology was sparked by asking a ton of questions about the world. There's just something about learning biology and figuring out where every little puzzle piece fits that makes it so exciting. Here's my favorite biology joke. What did one cell say to his sister's cell when she stepped on his toe? Ow! My toe, sis! Like, mitosis, get it?
I'm very pleased to announce the members of the Chemistry Olympiad team are Caleb Hsiung, Richard Huang, Nicholas Wu and Serena Yi. To get to this point, each member of the Australian team started as one of over 1,700 students who sat the Australian Science Olympiad exams in August 2019. Their performance in that exam resulted in their selection as one of 24 students attending the summer school in January 2020. Unfortunately, with the COVID-19 pandemic derailing plans for an April practical component, the team was selected solely on the basis of these exams.
Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. This quote is pretty self-explanatory. The road's never going to be easy, but if you just believe in yourself and work hard, then you can achieve what others simply call talent.
Where do I intend to study? Australia? Overseas? Definitely Australia. I hope to go into medicine to fulfill my eventual ambitions of undertaking medical research with relevant and much needed clinical experience.
The most challenging part about the Olympiad selection process was definitely keeping myself motivated. There are so many talented people in the program and that can sometimes be a bit intimidating, but they're always really friendly and willing to help.
For all aspiring Olympians, my advice would be to give the Australian Science Olympiad exams your best shot. In summer school, you will meet a tremendous number of individuals who too will enjoy chemistry.
My advice to any student thinking about sitting the Olympiad exams is just do it. What have you got to lose? There's a couple of hours in exams, and in earth and environmental science, we're not looking for people who know lots of stuff about the subject, we're looking for people who are really good problem solvers, really good analytical thinkers. Ultimately, these 4 students shone through, and here we are, very glad to have them representing Australia for 2020. Francis Can, Benita Mo, Alexandra Vickery, Oscar Dong.
I've always had a keen interest in astronomy and geography, as it allows us to uncover the mysteries of the universe. Aside from earth science, I enjoy reading, playing the piano, drawing, ballet, and hiking. I'm also passionate about social justice, and I volunteer with the St. John's Ambulance Cadets.
In Year 9, I did a program called Mission to Mars, which involved elements of geology and planetary system sciences. However, summer school was what really opened my eyes up to earth and environmental science.
The most challenging part of the Olympiad selection process was definitely summer school and building up to the final exam. Although this year, with all the hiccups along the way, was probably different to previous years, learning so much content in just a few months was still pretty stressful, especially near the selection exam.
Advice I'd give to other kids who might try this out. Don't let the lack of prior knowledge put you off. I had some basic grounding in astronomy, but apart from that, all I had really was the regular Australian high school science curriculum behind me when I took the test. It was more about reasoning than actually knowing the material from the subject area, at least at first.
I'm Dr. Matt Verdon, one of the directors of the Physics Olympiad program. I'm very happy to be able to introduce this year's representative team in physics. We have Monique Jeacocke, Alex Lin, Adrienne Lowe, Maggie Webber, and Isaac Wu. To any of you thinking of becoming an Olympian, I would say the most important thing is to be curious. Ask why, and don't be satisfied with explanations until you really feel that you understand. The other thing is, just give it a go. This isn't something for other people, this is something that you can do. So if you're interested, get in there, check out Olympiads online, see what takes your fancy, and maintain that curiosity and that drive for learning, because that's what sets our Olympiad students apart.
I've been interested in science for as long as I can remember, and growing up in Canberra, I was able to visit Questacon a lot as a child. As I grew older, I found that I was particularly interested in physics.
My interest in physics was sparked probably close to year 9. I had a science research project and free rein to choose whatever I wanted. At that point, I thought electricity and circuits sounded pretty cool, so I did an investigation on how battery discharge was affected by temperature.
I think my interest in physics stems from a love of mathematics, which I've had since I was little. I've found these fields to be very interrelated, and it's interesting to see that many concepts in physics have a very mathematical base.
The advice I would give to aspiring Olympians would be believe in yourself and persist. It's easy to think that you don't have a chance of being selected, but being persistent in your learning is the best thing that you can do, and it really pays off regardless of whether you're selected or not.